Guys ready for chapter 20? Kees Kip. And then something happened that overshadowed even the loss of Freya. The first news the Verhagen family had of it was after church when they heard people talk of another brilliant underground coup in Leyden. 16 hostages had been liberated, it was said, but the Germans had captured and shot Kees Kip. Remember, he's the hero of the Dutch resistance, the underground. The Verhagens went home feeling sad, for Kees Kip had become a personal hero to them. The country can ill afford to lose such men, said Father. We need them to rebuild Holland. Later, when they were at home, Raina arrived looking very shy and compassionate. She wrung Mother's hand. I'm so sorry for you, she murmured. I know how fond you were of your brother. And then, of course, they knew. All of a sudden, why had they not guessed it before? Kees Kip was Uncle Cor. Raina was startled to see how shocked they were. She burst into tears. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I thought you knew. She did not stay long. There was nothing she could do. Father Cobus came to visit Mother. It was raining again. He trudged over the long muddy dike holding an umbrella. He let Father take it. He shut it and removed his coat and flat black hat. He patted the little girls' heads and gave Joris a friendly slap on the shoulder. He seemed to fill the house as if it had been empty. And then he sat down beside Mother and he took her hand. Your brother was quite ready to go, he said. He talked to me the last time he was here. He went to confession and to communion. He spoke beautifully of his love for you and for your family. He said that whenever he felt discouraged, his visits here renewed and refreshed him. He spoke of your firm faith and of your affection. And remember, he is happy now. There is a great crown in heaven for he is such as he. Greater love than this has no man. Then he laid down his life for his friends. And Mother wept at last. She had not been able to before. Life returned to normal again, except that Freya did not come back. She had been away for 3 days now, and Joris thought she must be dead. It seemed as if all joy and beauty had departed from the earth with Uncle Cor and Freya. And then on the third night, Joris heard a scratching at the front door, a whining sound, and short barks. Freya! He almost fell down the attic stairs in his hurry. He never knew how he opened that door, and then they were in each other's arms, so to speak, he and Freya. He brought her into the kitchen where he lit the oil wick. She seemed to be starving, so he fed her leftover fish and wheat mash. She acted very restless, and Joris guessed that she was about to have her puppies. He woke Mother, who was so happy for him that she did not mind being roused out of a beautiful dream. Mother lit the stove in the kitchen and made Freya comfortable on a few old blankets. That morning, the pups were born, 4 of them. They looked at first as if they were dead, but when Freya licked and licked them, they began to look alive. With the puppies, joy and hope seemed to have entered the mill again. When the little girls awoke and heard of the new arrivals, they came trooping in on bare feet, their cheeks still rosy with sleep, and crouched beside Freya. Don't touch them, warned Joris. They're too young. Soon, the whole family was gathered in the kitchen admiring Freya and her pups. So here is a picture of Freya with her new babies. To wipe my tears. Cried that Uncle Cor died, but he died a hero. And helping people and helping with liberation, but it still makes me cry. Hendrik came later in the day, and Hildebrand had to flee to the attic again. Did you get Freya? Did she come home? Hendrik asked first thing, still panting from his run over the dike. Yes. How did you know? She came back just in time. She had her pups. The words could not tumble out of Joris's mouth fast enough. She has? No, let me see. The boys were bending over Freya with her puppies. I wonder which one I'll take, mused Hendrik. But what happened? Asked Joris. How did you know that Freya was back? Hendrik had been just as worried as Joris about Freya's disappearance. He'd been counting on that pup. Well, I let her loose, he boasted, sitting back on his heels and looking triumphant. Where was she? Joris asked impatiently. In the giant. Hans and Habel had done it. Hans and Habel? Joris looked bewildered. Yes, I found out by accident. They were talking and couldn't see me. I heard everything they said. Leendert put them up to it. He said they were sissies not to have revenge on you for taking away their pup. He made them steal Freya and hide her in the giant where no one could hear her. Hans didn't like it. I heard him tell Habel that he wanted to let her go. Joris's father bought the dog at a fair price. He said, we have no right to her. Leendert is wrong, and it is cruel, and she's expecting puppies. Habel wanted her to die of starvation. He said it was wicked to feed dogs when so many people had nothing to eat. Hans and Habel? Joris remembered his fight with them. It seemed so long ago. So I ran to the giant as soon as it was dark, Hendrik went on, very pleased with himself. Boy, was I scared. It was a spooky place. But I found Freya on a lot of rags in the second attic. She was tied up, but she had a dish of water beside her. I suppose Hans did that. As soon as I loosened her, she ran down the stairs and out the mill. She must have run straight home. How did Hans and Habel catch her? Asked Joris, mystified. He'd have expected Freya to kick up a row, but apparently Farmer Schneiderhans had just killed a pig and the boys had stolen a very appetizing morsel of meat, which Freya hadn't been able to resist. She was underfed too, poor animal. She had paid dearly for her greed. Will they beat you up when they find out that Freya is gone? Asked Joris. Beat me up? Hendrik snorted. They haven't the strength. And Hans won't be sorry. He's a decent fellow. Well, you've earned your pup, said Joris gratefully. From then on, Hendrik practically haunted the Watchman, which was very inconvenient for Hildebrand, who had to keep dashing up to the attic. The puppies were growing fast. They were called Thor, Balder, Sif, and Scotty. Sif and Scotty were the females and very like their mother. Thor and Balder were much tougher and bullied the other two. But Balder was affectionate, whereas Thor was a fighter. He growled and bit and would make funny little sallies, trying to attack and falling over his own legs. Hendrik was the only person he liked, and Hendrik soon decided that this was his pup. The winter was receding, and the warm sunshine woke up the polders to new life. The Allies were winning on all sides, marching into the east of Holland after liberating the south. And now the Germans did a terrible thing. The famine was spreading, notwithstanding the help from Sweden and Switzerland. All hopes were on the new harvest. The Werenmeer polder, newly won from Zuider Zee, that's quite a name, the 20,000 hectare, I can't even talk right now, hectares of fertile land planted with potatoes, wheat, cabbage, oats, and barley. It comprised 100 modern farms and many modern villages, but the Germans pierced the dikes and destroyed this badly needed harvest, inundating the lovely buildings, ruining the soil, and causing whole villages to be swept away by the water. Luckily, no one drowned. People saved themselves on the dikes and fled to North Holland. Land watchers searched the groups of fugitives for the many underdivers who had hidden on the farms and took them prisoner. Some were shot. There were negotiations going on in the east of Holland between the Allied commanders and the Dutch authorities. Food had to be brought to Holland quickly. People were dying everywhere. On Sunday afternoon, April 29th, two 4-motor bombers roared over the cities, dropping food parcels in the nearby polders. The population of Holland went wild. Heedless of the protestations of the Germans, they ran into the streets, climbed roofs, hung out the windows. They waved sheets, flags, kerchiefs. They shouted greetings, embraced one another, and wept. Soon more bombers came, and more. The food rained down. Sometimes a bag burst, and there was a hail of dried peas and sugar. There was butter, meat, chocolate, flour. Some food fell in inundated land and was retrieved by a dozen swimmers. One bomber heading toward Leyden flew low over the Watchman and dropped a parcel which landed on the roof of the summer house. Dirk Jan had to climb a tree and poke with sticks to get to it. It was actually addressed to the Verhagen family with the gratitude for their hospitality from Charles. Do you guys remember Charles? It was the most marvelous, the British airman. It was the most marvelous parcel they had ever received. Besides tea, coffee, cigarettes, dried soup, canned meats, cookies, and flour, it held razor blades, sewing thread, soap powder, toilet soap, furniture polish, matches, toothpaste, and dog biscuits. What fun it was. Each item caused wild rejoicing. Father and Hildebrand started to shave at once. The children wanted to brush their teeth and wash. Mother finished some sewing she had laid aside because of lack of thread, and Freya wolfed down the biscuits. Mother polished the furniture and washed clothes, her face shining with happiness and soap. It's really coming, she said. I feel it. Peace is on the way. That's the end of chapter 20. And chapter 21 is peace.